What's up, guys? This is the Blueberries Podcast. I'm Deck.
I'm DG.
And this week, of course, we're going to be doing our pregame for the Jets that we play this week at 1 o'clock in New York. That is tomorrow for us. So we're recording this Saturday. We're going to try our absolute best to get it uploaded tonight. That is the goal. And I'm sure it'll carry through. You can start with, you want to hop right into it?
Yeah.
I'll go first, or no, you go first.
No, actually, I want you to go first.
All right. In terms of the pregame analysis,
I wrote that.
Yeah. I got you. In terms of the pregame analysis, I'll start out with Tomlin's comments as a whole at the presser. They call them Tomlin Tuesdays. A lot of times you hear a bunch of gibberish that sounds good, but it's often conveyed that way. It's not. I think a lot of times he says random stuff. I'm going to kind of get into that. One thing he did say that I think could be true is he said Jonnu Smith is positionless. I mean, the truth of that's going to depend on Arthur Smith's usage of him. So I'm not saying it's not going to be a thing. I just don't know how effective he'll be as wide receiver too. I don't think he's going to fully fill the void, but I do think he's going to be really good and a main contributor. Positionless, as they call him, I would love for that though. I would love for him to be a wide receiver too, essentially. I'll tie in the tight ends right now if that's fine.
Yeah.
Just because I know we're going to do a lot of personnel with them, all three tight ends on the field, from what I heard, which would be nice. I would love to see a Jonnu split out wide, Pat in the slot, Darnell blocking / releasing from a tight position. And yeah, that would be nice. I think Arthur Smith, out of all people, could utilize three great tight ends right now. I'm going to hop around, but Aaron Rodgers did say that this is the best tight end room that he's played with ever. And he had some good guys, but he said in terms of the depth, and he was mentioning all four, Connor Hayward included, which a lot of people hate on him. I'm in the middle on him. I don't think you make a roster just because your brother. I mean, we saw with Derek Watt. He got cut. So I think there's something to be said there. He made the roster. I mean, there's plenty of guys. Beanie Bishop's out there and didn't make the roster.
He's pretty good for us in special teams too. I mean, he's not as bad. I think people say that a lot just because of who we have in our tight end room, and they're like, oh, well, he's only making it good to the man. But actually, Connor, he does a lot of good things for us on special teams and stuff, so you can definitely see that.
He's a contributor as well as he is kind of a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
We haven't been able to activate an offense as a whole. I mean, we've had great players that haven't been good because or lack of quarterback play. Good quarterback play, I should say. So a guy like that, I mean, I remember a few years ago when we were fighting to get rid of Canada, he played, he was at like a wing. He got a little handoff up the middle and essentially won a game for us. Yeah. I'm not saying that alone is making me high on him at all, but I think he could play anywhere. I think he could play fullback, running back, which I don't obviously look at that as like a big thing, big role, but he could play anywhere, yeah. I mean, Michigan State highlights, if you hate him that much, look up. I'm not saying anybody's college highlights aren't good if they're in the league, but Michigan State, he was nice.
Yeah. Play ball, so.
Yeah, he's a ball player. Receiver comments from Mike Tomlin are what I'm going to get into. I just don't like his steady Eddie, like, oh, we're fine type of outlook. I think he puts himself in a position to always be right, and I don't like it. I think he said the same receiver comments this year as he did last year. Oh, I'm comfortable with the room. He mentioned that he really likes Roman Wilson and that Calvin took a step up and all this stuff, but they have been searching for a wide receiver too on the market, and there's no hiding that. That has been an outward fact.
Yeah.
So I hate, we're perfectly fine. We've been fine. That's pretty much what he said. Like, we're good. Dude, you were just looking for a wide receiver last week. 3 days ago. You're probably right now still like, who could? Don't lie and act like, I know you don't want to go up there and say, yeah, we looked for one, we couldn't get one. You want to be confident in the guys in the room, and that helps the team as a whole to be confident in them. Yeah. But at the same time, don't act like
dummies.
It's so good.
Yeah, we're not dummies. I mean, you don't gotta treat the people asking as if like we don't know what's going on. But then again, them asking the question, they're probably just trying to. I understand it to an extent of where Mike Tomlin's coming from on that. Of course, you want to instill confidence into your guys, and you the team you're about to play think that you have any weaknesses, but I don't think it's one of those things where it's a big secret. You know what I mean? Like we know we need a wide receiver too. I mean, Jonnu Smith, he's a positionless type of guy. I've said on here multiple times that he could play. He has a lot of wide receiver attributes, and that's something I always liked about Jonnu. But that depending on how we use him and how we use our tight ends, I don't know if he could fully fill that void.
Yeah,
but
get close.
We'll see. I mean, that's one of the things I don't have too much for you on that because I don't know exactly how we're going to use our tight ends, but I know we got 3 good ones.
Yeah, and they're all capable of both things, blocking and catching the football.
Yeah.
Just with Mike T, just like an overview of that is like, man, last year he said Van Jefferson and Scotty Miller look great. Like, right. The beginning of the season. And look how that happened. We had Pickens, little crybaby, which I'm getting less and less on him. Like, I was so mad we lost him. Me and D just talked before we started recording. Like, Cowboys a couple nights ago, he was pouting when he didn't get the ball, body language-wise.
Same old. For him, he's so talented, but he gets in his own way. But you know what? That's a conversation for another day. Yeah. But, yeah, I definitely want to brief up on the Tomlin comments. Like, I didn't actually see the video of the comments, but how I'm taking it, he's probably trying to instill the confidence into the guys. But with that being said, I mean, we have to have an answer for that. Like, I feel like that's one of them things. Like, we have to have an answer for that wide receiver 2 position. Like, and Mike T, I understand that. I know you're gonna bat for your guys, but we have to be truthful about what we need there, and what are the real possibilities of us getting someone? Which obviously we play tomorrow, so do we get someone eventually? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna throw out an annoying analogy, which my wife always hates on me for these, but I'm just gonna have to create something in my head. Imagine there's infrastructure, like a building or a bridge that you're constructing, and you had all these parts that are working good and they're solid and they're stable, and then a big part of it is missing, and you're like, oh, we'll just put sand there, or we'll just put metal there, but we need steel. Metal and steel is the better thing. You can't keep covering that up and expect not to fall through. Like, we're going to fall through. DK just looked like Hulk in a picture today to me. Like, the dude is massive. He's basically Pickens, but less off the field issues. On the field, he's probably still going to do crazy stuff. We know that. Kind of like it. But if he's out, like, what do we got? Yeah, we have 3 tight ends that are capable. Yeah, we have a Roman Wilson that hopefully will make heads turn this year. And yeah, we have Calvin that did some good things last year, but we don't have the depth that he tries to sell to himself. When he goes to bed at night, I know he knows that it's not looking good in that position room. But he thinks telling the public is going to make it better. And honestly, us Steeler fans, we're smarter than a lot. The average Steeler fan is smarter than some avid fans of other teams, because this is what we breathe. We're football town. It's not like the Panthers per se. I'm from North Carolina originally. No one knew anything about football. Playing Little League, they didn't know what was going on. So we're a football area. Even the guys that you think are dumb on the street, they know a little bit. So I don't know why he's lying to a city of people that realize what it takes to win championships like we have in the past.
Yeah. And that's what I meant by the context in terms of, like, okay, I don't know how the question was, like, specifically asked, but can we be comfortable with our receiver room? We can be if we don't run into any injuries down the line, or not even just that. Like, it really depends on our system, our scheme, you know what I mean? Like, I truly believe that, a team like the Eagles, they could not have Devontae Smith, but as their wide receiver too, but they will still win games because of the system that's in play for them. Their line's still going to be dominant. Yeah. They're still going to be able to have that run game, and they'll still have the play action. So if that's the model base that we're going for, just being able to be versatile within our offense, I don't necessarily know if we need. I mean, I don't know what wide receiver 2 there is right now to really grab that's going to just change our room, completely.
That's
so,
another point. We're kind of too far.
Yeah, gone. It's like, and I do expect Calvin Austin to make strides. I really do. I'm high on him. I'll eat my words if I have to, but right now, I feel like he could be one of the, I don't want to say better wide receiver twos in the league because there's some good wide receiver twos on teams, but he'll be a much more household name when this season is over with. I truly believe that. We still got Roman. We still want to see what he does. We're not banking on those guys, but our track record with receivers, I guess that's probably where some of the comfortability comes from with Tomlin. Is probably just he knows that we're a team that an organization that we really develop wide receivers. You know what I mean? So he's probably looking at it like, oh, you guys don't even know, and you don't know how much of it is like, okay, does Tomlin and them feel pressured into getting a wide receiver too because of the fans? But I think when you go after names like Terry McLaurin and things, that becomes no. Obviously, you need that wide receiver because you don't just go after guys like that if you don't need them. Which those are big names, and there's a lot of teams that will die for Terry McLaurin, but just us being aggressive, asking what we could do to get a trade done. But then again, like we said before, they turned down the opportunity to give away Pat Freiermuth and a second rounder for him. So
there must be comfortability.
Obviously, they must really be high. They must value that tight end room more than what they're valuing the wide receiver too, because that's a no-brainer if you really need a wide receiver too that bad. In my opinion, some people might disagree, but
yeah, the receiver room's something I'm going to pay a lot of attention to throughout the season. Tomorrow, my eyes are going to be open. I guess before I say the next two things quickly, because they're kind of just like quick take stuff, like the wide receiver room really isn't, because it is a glaring red dot of, so that's why we went a little deeper into it, because man, like that's honestly, if we had a wide receiver too, I'd be very confident in this team going really far, at least the playoff win, and I still think we could achieve that, but I'd be like almost certain. I'll say offensively, I think we're going to get off to a slower start because it's easier for defenses to be good at this time of year than offenses. But the reason I'm tying that in is because I guess tomorrow I'm not going to be overly analytical about, oh, we didn't get this guy the ball, this didn't work out the right way. But by game 3, game 4, like if our offense isn't putting up points, that's an issue. We saw the game 2 nights ago. 2 offenses were battling back to back. Like Dallas isn't my favorite at all, but Dak played some good football. Yeah. CeeDee Lamb, of course, played good football. Their whole offense, their running back was playing good. So you need to score points. Tomlin's too old-minded. He's too old-head-minded. It's getting annoying. I'm not saying it won't change this year, but this running game thing, rushing for less yards in pretty much the whole league, but primarily running, it's not going to work. So that's going to be a big glaring red dot in my eyes.
I think we're going to start getting into this pregame analysis, but to touch on that a little bit, I do think I don't think we need a top 5 offense or nothing like that, but we do need to play complementary football to where okay, our defense gets a big turnover. We have to capitalize on that, and I think that's why you get a guy like Aaron Rodgers who will capitalize on those things. And not only that, if we don't get a stop on defense, that can't dictate how our offense comes out, and vice versa. When our offense gets stifled, our defense can't waver. I mean, that's our crutch. We need our defense to play good at all times, regardless of what our offense is doing. That's what we expect from them, being the highest paid defense, and no doubt about it. But we also, we need to help our defense out this year. We got to be able to maintain possession of the ball like that. Yeah. That's what I look for, and I know we're going against them, but when we did have Justin Fields, that's something that I think a lot of us Steelers fans didn't value when we had him. They was looking at, we're not scoring a whole bunch of points with Justin Fields. We're not we're not capitalizing for touchdowns. And but you know what? One thing that he did was he moved the chains. And you need that.
Time of possession was great with him at times too.
It was. I remember so many times seeing 3rd and 12s and 3rd and 8s and he's converting. Where I feel like Russ. we had games where we put up more points, but Russ was boom or bust. It was touchdown or 3 and outs all throughout the game. So what I'm looking for is more of a mixture. Can we move the ball and then finish these drives instead of kicking field goals and letting it be the Boswell show? Are we able to turn that into 6 points? That's what will, I think, that's what our season. That's what we got to bank. That's the areas we could get better from last year. Is basically where I'm getting at. I don't think we've changed entirely too much on offense, other than the additions of DK swapped out for Pickens and Jonnu Smith. So it's like we're going to have to be a team that capitalizes in those situations where when we're in the red zone, we got to score touchdowns. It's very simple. I think that's why we are looking forward to that duo of Darnell and Aaron Rodgers and all the other tight ends.
Yeah, I mean, to put a cap on that, like you said, complimentary play. Overall, you can't have a top of the line defense with a bottom of the barrel offense. So it's impossible. So I mean, anybody that knows football knows that. So at the end of the day, our offense has to help us out, and how Justin Fields was able to help us out with time of possession with his legs last year, and at times stretching the field and being able to make some passes, some timely passes. I expect a 4-time MVP to be able to do the same, but with his arm, of course. I think they are going to blitz us a lot because Aaron Rodgers, I think, had the lowest statistics for passing against the blitz last year. And we have a O-line that we're still not the highest on. I do think they're better. But outside of that, next two things I'll spew off before the pregame analysis as a whole is Cam Hayward's contract thing. All I have to say is boo. I know he's going to play. He cares too much about his reputation as a Steeler to just sit the first game, in my opinion. But the fact that he's playing around like that is just I think it's kind of making his character look worse. Not that we don't appreciate everything he's done, but it's just annoying at this point. Mm-hmm. And then another contractual thing is Jaylen Warren's contract. It kind of made me realize that I think we see him as RB1 for the unforeseen future. Yeah. I think the confidence in a contract, I don't remember the numbers, but period, giving him a contract, that's a big deal. I think they look at him as running back one, and with Caleb Johnson's iffy preseason performances, as well as Kenneth Gainwell not being probably a RB1, but being very good like role guy, then I knew Jaylen Warren was going to be RB1, but I didn't know if it was going to be more of a comp. And I don't think it will be. I think he's actually going to perform pretty well, and I think that's our guy. So I'm all in on Jaylen. I've had mixed ideas and mixed viewpoints on him, but I do think that I'm finally all in right now. It's probably because the first game's tomorrow. I'm psyched, but yeah, Jaylen Warren, that's our guy. I mean, I there's certain things about him, but hopefully he puts it all together this year and really breaks out. People around the league know him. I mean, when Patrick Queen came here, he said that's a hard guy to go against before he even said Najee's name. So people around the league know he's a good running back, and I think it's time for him to let everyone know outside of just players. And you could comment on those two things before we get into.
I won't get into it too much, but I mean, I think I already spoke on Jaylen Warren. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm high on what he can be, but I'm still not sure. I'm still a believer in Caleb Johnson. Like, I'm not gonna. I seen enough good from Caleb Johnson. I mean, he's getting his feet wet as a rookie in the NFL. I'm not gonna judge him too much off of that.
I think mid-season he'll be all right.
Yeah, so I feel like down the line, I mean, Caleb Johnson I feel like he will play a big part. I think Gainwell will have his moments where he's good out of the backfield and brings what he does to the table. And Jaylen Warren, I do expect him to be our bell cow, the guy that we go to, throughout the game and clutch moments.
Every time we need some.
Yeah, I think he can be that guy. I mean, does he have to clean up some things? Yeah, but he's shown us enough for us to know what he's going to bring to the table. I'm not going to act like he's no good. I'm not going to act like he's just like he's a placeholder for Caleb Johnson, because he's not. He can be a future RB1 permanent to stay. But that's something we'll find out. I think we'll find that out pretty early too. Like, that's a good thing about us is we're going to be run heavy no matter who we have at quarterback. I mean, we got Mahomes there. We're still going to want to run the ball. So if there's a position where we'll, there's a position where we'll be able to, judge someone pretty quickly. It's going to be that running back position. So that's all I got to say on that. To get into the pregame analysis, to talk about some matchups that we're expecting to see and what we think could, possibly shape what this game looks like. I feel like we have to start with TJ versus the rookie tackle.
Yeah, that's huge.
I don't know who this rookie tackle is. Declan actually told me that he's going against a rookie tackle.
Yeah, I don't know.
But what I would say is I don't care what rookie tackle you are, how high rated of a prospect, for you to come in your first official game in the NFL and have to go against
the best
Trent Jordan White, buddy, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty for anyone. I don't care how. It's not going to be pretty. That's going to play a big factor. Do I expect them to help chip the rookie tackle? With tight ends and running backs. Yeah.
But TJ's
also do that. Our defense is so dynamic. You could do that, and you're just going to get hurt somewhere else. So
TJ will be moving around, and as well as Patrick Queen just said, we're bringing back Blitzburg. I don't think it's going to be as easy as it was in past years to contain a guy like TJ, which they emphasized that before he signed the contract. Is this year we need to move a guy like that around.
And this is off topic just a little bit, but not really. But if any of you guys do follow college football, my favorite team is LSU, right? And a big problem for us the past, couple of seasons was that we just got a defensive coordinator named Blake Baker who's very big on blitzing, and he blitzed Clemson, I think, 80% of the snaps last week. And last year he wasn't able to do that because of his back end was so bad. And when you blitz like that, you're going to give it away. But my point being, with the back end that we have this year for our stellar defense, I do expect us to bring Blitzburg back, because you could do that when you have the back end that's going to, hold tight on their coverage. It's going to just help each other out. So,
yeah,
I think that it will look nasty is basically what I'm saying. If you do follow college football, you see the performance that they put on when they actually had the DBs to run the scheme they wanted to run. So I think that's going to be similar to the Steelers. So I'm excited to see that.
Do you want to kind of flip it to where it's like our O-line, like do everything at once in terms of that? Like our O-line versus their D-line and vice versa, and then, what I mean?
That's kind of what I was asking earlier.
Yeah, instead of going like defense and then offense. Yeah, I guess I'll just do that. Yeah, I mean, TJ going against a rookie, we already said it. That's a big deal. Our D-line, we got some dogs on there. Harmon's out. Cam, his bullshit. I don't know what's going on with that.
Why Black? You gotta step up. Why Black and Keanu Bennett?
Yeah,
Keanu
Benton.
My bad. I'm sorry.
Y.A. Black. Yeah.
I think those are two guys that are gonna have to step up more. Even with Cam, he's still older. He's still, he's still gonna need his breaks and all that stuff. Them two guys, I think, are key players that we need to watch for.
Yeah, I think they'll match well against the Jets.
Loudermilk too. I heard Loudermilk might get the start, so we'll see what he does if he does. So
yeah, they must be seeing something. I mean, our D-line versus their O-line, I'm not going to say it's going to be stagnant, mostly with the outside linebackers being so depth-filled. It's not going to be stagnant. I think we win that. I'm not too filled in on the entire setup other than the main Jets O-lineman. His name's Elijah Vera Tucker. I don't know if I said that right.
Yep.
But he is out for the season. That's a huge deal. So our defense has to capitalize on that, as well as capitalize on the rookie being in. So, I mean, our D-line, I'm confident in against their O-line. It sounds like they're kind of missing people, and it also sounds like they're young. And on the flip side, I think our O-line versus their D-line, I want to say last year they were supposed to be rated high coming out.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they don't have people there. I don't know names, to be honest. But I do know that I think that'll be a bit more stagnant because we're taking steps as an O-line to get better, but their D-line I think is actually pretty wrapped up. I think they're decent. So that'll be hopefully stagnant. Possibly we might lose that. Losing in the trenches is a big deal, but I don't think it'll be lost by a lot. So when you compare lines like that, I think it'll be
we have to hold
50-50 as a whole on both sides.
We have to hold our own. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what the Jets are hoping for their O-line as well. With knowing what our D-line brings to the table, they're probably hoping that they hold up well. Yeah. I know that the Jets have that Will McDonald that was a rookie last year, pretty good pass rusher. But in their interior, correct me if I'm wrong. I think they might have the wrong paint. I'm not sure, but um, I'm not too familiar with who they have up front. But I expect our O line to be better. Like I just expect them to look better. I like what I've seen from Broderick in the preseason. I expect him to go out there with more confidence, with a clearer head, playing his natural position. That's just it's natural. When you play, when if something just feels right, it feels right. You don't want to go away from that. And then Troy Fautanu, I'm expecting big things from him this game. Hopefully he stays healthy, and I think interior wise with Frazier, McCormick, and Samalu, those three guys, I don't think you even have to question. Like honestly, actually no, Zach Frazier, you have to start getting your snaps up. That's the one thing I'll say for you. Like you block great, you're a hell of a player, but you have to start getting your snaps up. That's one thing I noticed through the preseason. Like you're still snapping that ball a little low, and it happened a little bit last year too when you got in. That's just little small things that could determine a game. You never know. So I'm gonna touch on that a little bit. But that's all I have for the O line.
Yeah, I mean, line. I'll fall off that. I guess the next I'd be like wide receiver and corners. I think our corner room is as aggressive as it's been for maybe possibly ever. I think Jalen Ramsey came out swinging in the preseason. That just showed me like he's a vet. He has nothing to prove. He could take it easy, basically treat it like drill work, backpedal, get loose. But he's in there slamming people. JPJ is aggressive, as we know. Darius Slay's no chump. Like I think that's a big DB room. And in terms of this game, translating that, their wide receivers I think are Garrett Wilson and then a fall off. I think they have the one. I know the one guy that is it Olave? No, Olave's good.
I think they have
the guy that's
13. Lazard.
Lazard? Alan Lazard. That's who. If we would have got him as a Steeler, number 10. If we got him as a Steeler, I would probably be higher on him, and that's just the nature of having a team that you like. But at the end of the day, I don't think he's nothing to run home about, or like brag home about. Like there's not really wide receiver 2 on that team that I'm scared of. And with Garrett Wilson, I don't think he's necessarily like a top end wide receiver 1. I think he would be a wide receiver 2 on a lot of teams. But I do like Garrett. He is good. And I switch it over vice versa. I think it's the same thing, different day. Sauce Gardner and then a fall off. And I think with DK versus Sauce, DK's going to win a lot of that. I mean, just look at the body types and DK's ability to get downfield as fast as he is without as big as he is. I think that'll be a good matchup, but I think DK gets the best of him. And then after that fall off, I think Calvin and Roman could really, just a lot of games this year, this is what's going to happen. There's going to be a fall off at corner, and they're going to be able to, a lot of the attention will go to DK. They're going to be able to capitalize. Now it's up to them to be opportunists rather than just being guys that are, role players. They need to take over a game. There needs to be games where DK isn't the number one leader in yards / yak, everything. So I look forward to both sides of the ball. I look forward to all of our corners. Like JPJ should be locking people down. And then on the other side, I think like Calvin and them should be running really good routes and getting open. So that's pass game as a whole.
I'm not going to really get into because I feel like there's not really too much to touch on when it comes to the wide receiver core versus DB matchup on both sides because we both got a wide receiver 1 and, questionable wide receiver 2s and go down the board. But the matchup I wanted to get into, do you have anything else on the DBs versus wide receiver matchup?
No, not really. I just expect a really physical approach from both ends of the Steelers. That's it.
Okay. Same. But I definitely want to get into the court. I feel like the quarterback matchups is what will tell this game. I mean, I'll actually before we get into Aaron Rodgers, I actually want to start with Justin Fields because we understand and we've seen what he brings to the table. Live front and center. So I think the big thing for our defense to be able to keys to the victory. We have to contain Justin Fields on third downs. Like that's very big for us. Like if we can get off on third downs, that's very big for us. We need to get off on third and longs. I don't know. I mean, if you're a Steelers fan, I'm pretty sure you're just like me and just like Declan. When it's 3rd and 13, 17, it don't matter what it is, you still hold your breath because we give those up like no other. Like we probably give up more 3rd and longs than we do 3rd and shorts, and it's mind blowing to me. So when we get in those situations, I think it will be different, but those situations are what this game is going to come down to. You know, keeping Justin Fields in the pocket, forcing him to, handicap him, forcing him to beat us with his arm. Not letting them get quick reads to get in a rhythm. You know, little things like that. I mean, the chess matchup before with our DC and their OC is going to be big in this game.
Yeah, I mean, quarterback matchup. Like just to go off of what D just said when it comes to limiting Justin, we know him as a D, like you mentioned earlier, and also like when it comes to mobility, I think we have a lot of guys that can cease that. We have really fast, aggressive guys on the outside. We have great outside linebackers, and I'm not even going to get into that. That should just be easy pickings to me. But to get into kind of the defense, like he was talking about, we have to knock our bad habits that we've had for nearly a decade. I think we have left the middle of the field open sesame for so long, and I have trust in our DBs, but a lot of times that's and I'll go into Peyton Wilson as well and Patrick Queen in a second. Probably more or less just Peyton, but there is like a good coverage team as a whole. Those are great cover guys in the middle, but we've left that middle of the field open. We play zone, and our safeties and DBs just like act like they don't have heads at times. So that's going to be big because Justin Fields, I can't talk bad on him because I was advocating for him to be a Steeler this year. What I will say is Aaron Rodgers is the better pure quarterback, and he should win this matchup by far. But it's up to our defense limiting the tools that Justin has because he's just as good of a runner as a Lamar, and that sounds crazy, but Lamar's so good at passing that it's not seen. He can kill you with his feet, but the problem is he doesn't have the other tools, so you can hone in on, okay, we stop him here, we're good. But I mean, with Justin's play, I don't think there's really like a comparison to Rodgers.
I don't, but I think what Justin Fields can do for the Jets is keep them in 3rd and manageable. So like when we do get in those situations, we have to just get off the field. Like I think that's what it comes down to. You know, they're gonna have their home crowd. You know, whatever the case, we just gotta get off the field. You know what I mean? Don't let Justin Fields get confidence. Take that confidence away from him early. Whether that's blitzing him a lot or however you got to do it as a defensive coordinator, just throw him off his rhythm. If we're going to flip sides with this thing, then going to Aaron Rodgers. What I want to say is this: like for us, I feel like the key for our offense is for Aaron Rodgers to play to win and not to prove. And what I mean by that is, don't go out there trying to prove that you're still a top end quarterback in this league. We don't need that from you. We just need you to be Aaron Rodgers. We need you to get the ball out your hands fast. We need you to hit open receivers. You know, don't do too much. We have a great roster around you. So establish the run game. You know, get yourself in that rhythm because you're a great quarterback. Throwing the ball, I mean, there's very little to anyone who can compete with them in that category. So the biggest thing with quarterbacks like that, get them in a rhythm. We need them to get in a rhythm early in the game. You know, establish what we want to establish early.
I don't expect that, sadly, from the past right now. Not that Aaron's not Aaron, but
it's just that's what we have to do. If we're talking about the keys to win, we have to. Aaron Rodgers, you got to play to win, not to prove. Don't go out there trying to prove that you're a 35-year-old Aaron Rodgers who just threw 37 TDs to 4 picks. I mean, last year you threw 28 touchdowns and 11 picks. We're not expecting you to be the MVP Aaron Rodgers. What we're expecting from you is just veteran leadership. You know, being able to lead the guys and being able to sustain drives. Like that's what we need from you, and we need you to capitalize in the red zone. If we do those things, I think not only do we win this game, but in the future, it's going to be hard to beat us. You know, if we capitalize on the little things, like red zones. Red zone is, I keep saying it because it's very important. Like red zone matchup is we could be driving the ball up and down the field, just how we did the first game last year against Atlanta. But if we're kicking off field goals, you're still putting your team in a position where we got the chance to lose. Think about it. Think about 18 points with all field goals. That's 6 scoring drives.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So you turn 2 of those into touchdowns, the score looks a lot different. So just we got to capitalize. That's
I mean, to brief up real quick on matchups, like nothing crazy. Peyton Wilson claimed he was the best coverage linebacker in the league, and Breece Hall is a good matchup for that. He needs to prove it this game, as well as, I'll give some shout outs right quick. I think Patrick Queen against their running backs as well as Peyton should override that. They should do well. And then I focus mainly on corners, but Deshaun Elliott, Juan Thornhill, I'm going to have my eyes on him a lot to see if he's the real deal for what we need as our starter. And then Deshaun, I expect Deshaun's going to do Deshaun things. So I'm going to get off of that. And my keys to win, you cool if I just breeze through like everything, I think?
Go ahead.
Keys to win. A lot of these are going to be cliches, and I don't really care because at the end of the day, football is a simple sport when you really think about it. I think our offense has to. I don't think they need to perform at a high level yet, but I think we need to see the inner workings of what they've done in the offseason in terms of schematics. I think being an adjusting. I don't know the exact word right now. Being able to adjust to your personnel is something that Arthur Smith's been known for. I mean, I think he made Tannehill or Mariota, one of those two, look really good for a season. So I think it's not hard for him to make Aaron Rodgers look good, but he definitely needs to adjust to his personnel. He doesn't have a wide receiver too. His tight ends are very full. His running backs, he has a committee. There could be a game where it's a Kenneth Gainwell game. There could be a game where it's a Jaylen Warren game, which should be a lot of them. He's RB1, but I think he has a lot of options, and he has to find a way to make that all pan out. So this game in particular, we need to take advantage of some of the dead spots on the Jets defense, which a lot of people at the beginning of last season thought there wasn't too many. I think there is. We just have to play smart football. We have to possess the ball. Our offense cannot be punting like we have. So that's the biggest thing on offense is my two things. O-line has to come out swinging. When I say that it takes a while for our offense to gel at the beginning of the season, I know it takes time for offensive lines too, but I'm more or less thinking of the receivers and the quarterback. Our offensive line, there's no excuses at this point. I know it's the first game. They should come out swinging. There should be a lot of aggression at least. That's offensively, and there's a lot of things I could get at offensively. We need our running backs to see the hole, hit the hole. We don't need any of that dance and stuff. Our wide receivers have to run crisp routes and understand that they have to be opportunists outside of DK. Yeah. And I expect the DK-Aaron Rodgers tandem to actually show this game. I think that'll be the biggest bright spot. I think we outscore him, and I think DK has a monster game in a way. Monster's probably too far. I think he has a really good game because
it's hard for me to know what to expect from even from DK. Like DK, he's like Pickens to me. Pickens is like he's not going to get the most separation, but he makes contested catches. Can DK be versatile? Like that's what I'm looking for DK. Like I need you to be good in the intermediate game. We can't just have you be simply a deep threat. Like we need you to be much more than that. We need your presence to be felt. Like
which I think his yak ability is one of the best.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I mean,
but it depends on us scheming him to get open.
Right? Yeah, it's like we got A-Rod. I do expect A-Rod to he like I said before on a different episode. A-Rod's known for putting his receivers or pass catchers into good position to make yards after the catch. And I expect the same thing with DK, like when it comes to that. But we need his presence to be felt. That's first and foremost. We need you to establish your presence out there against their defensive backs, whether that's catching the ball, blocking, or whatever it is. Just make them know that DK Metcalf is out there. And then secondly, like I think the most important, like this is the most important because if this doesn't happen, then we don't win. Like I don't see a world in us being able to drop back Aaron Rodgers 50 times and come out with a W against a lot of teams. So we have to run the ball. Yeah. We have to establish the run game early. Like that got to be something that they go in the halftime and they're like, oh, we need to adjust to whatever they're doing.